Hi everyone, I'm Tom and today I'm going to be showing you Vengeance Roll and Fight, which, maybe you've guessed, is a roll and write version of Vengeance, which is basically a revenge movie, a Kill Bill in a board game. The original designer Gordon Kaleha has teamed up with David Tortzi of, many board games, of Anachrony, of Kitchen Rush, of Roman Roll, tons of things. And I believe first-time designer Norley Lubbers. This takes the theme and feel of the original board game and transports it into a faster roll and write form. But just because it's a roll and write doesn't mean that it isn't, a meaty medium Euro game. This is on Kickstarter right now. You can check out the campaign page in the corner or in the description to see all the final stuff. This is all prototype stuff. It's laminated boards and stuff that I've tried desperately to get to not glare, and stickered dice and stuff. You can see all of the final stuff in the campaign page. So we start off as characters. We have Marty as Shadow Man and I am Little Gudrun, and we both have abilities which in Vengeance are negative things. Shadow Man can't shoot people, he can't damage them in adjacent rooms, he can only evade them instead. And when you do a punch ability, you have the option of using a more powerful die to do a more powerful action. Little Gudrun has to do that or the action won't go off. Each character has their own set of items and abilities which you unlock later. You shuffle up the bosses and deal yourself one each. This is, the climactic scene of the Vengeance movie. There are going to be montages where we will train and gain things. And then in the main round, we will be running around the boss's lair, trying to get around the minions and ultimately defeat the boss himself, as well as fulfilling objectives and visiting loads of rooms and stuff. We'll see that as we go along. So the first thing that happens in a round is the preparation phase. We have this montage card here. We have some preparation dice that we roll that tell everyone the options that they can take for their training here. Now we've had it a little bit dictated to us here, but there are dice with multiple options for their faces on there as well. And you can see on the preparation guide here what they mean. If you roll the lightning bolt, that's basically experience. That's circling these circles to unlock abilities. So you could do some training actions here. Each training action unlocks 2 of these ability circles. So straight away, you'd get 4 of them here. And once you've got enough ability circles, you see in the corner of all these abilities here, they have a number of lightning bolts, and that tells you how many experience this is going to cost you. So you have some ongoing things, you have some extra abilities, extra actions that only you can do. Some are restricted to only being done once, but you can unlock those over the course of the game. When you're spending your XP, you cross off XP that you've previously circled. You could also get the brass knuckles here. They will unlock a use of an item. So you would draw a border around one of these boxes, and then when you use it later, you cross it out. But you notice that each item here has a limited number of uses, so you decide where they go at the start of the game. So each item has a shelf life, basically. No matter how many unlocks you get, you can't just keep doing the same best item constantly. You can get health. This is how you heal. You can rub away 2 spent health squares, or you can draw yourself a new one, so expand your maximum health track, which you will want if you're going to be taking wounds, which you probably will be. You can get recon, this scouting here. One of those lets you cross off one of these chevron symbols, these single chevrons on the abilities, and this is basically a free activation of that ability, but it means you're not going to be able to assign dice there. 2 of these recon icons will let you do a double chevron ability, like this charge here. And if you get 3, it lets you do a double icon and a single, but that's all you can do. More icons don't get you any more training, and you can't spend, 3 on 3 single abilities. It's a single and a double, and that's all you're allowed to do in a round. There's also the diamond here, Prestige. Now, when you get Prestige, you can either cross it off on your Prestige track, and you'll start to earn points if you get loads. You can also find treasures in the hideouts, as you might imagine, or you can treat it as any of the other symbols instead. So a way of getting a lot of XP, which will get you a lot of abilities, which will get you points towards the end, or loads of item unlocks that will greatly help you out, or loads of health that will help you survive longer. So everyone gets the use of the 3 dice that have been rolled, and then a 4th preparation action, which can be anything except for Prestige. So with what we rolled, I could treat the diamond as an extra health, say, and then take my 4th action as an extra health. So I try and get loads of that. So after our preparation, and we've all had our 4 options there, we move on to the rolling phase. And this is the real-time part of the game. We have a pool of dice defined by the number of players. In a 2-player game, that's 24 of these dice, all the same dice. So we take 4 of those each, and it is one of those frantic real-time rolling phases where you can roll as fast and as often as you like, trying to get the results you need to activate your various abilities, your 4 basic ones that everyone has, and the ones you might unlock along the way. Certain abilities like Loud Bang here that I've unlocked can only be activated once per round. It's got a little 1x there. Now there's no timer for this. The timer is basically that I can roll and roll and roll. So I start out in this empty room. I can do fire actions. Shots will kill enemies in adjacent rooms, and the rooms have doors showing you what connects to what. Shots cannot be used for enemies in the same room as you. Hits, by the punch action, can only be done to enemies that are in the same room as you. Move will move you to an adjacent room, and charge is move and hit. And it's important that all of your abilities have to be done in the order they are written in, unless you have an item like Shadow Man's slings. This round, resolve abilities in any order if you can use that. So I could be thinking, you know, I want to move. I've rolled 1 run, so I won't re-roll that. This is all happening while everyone else is rolling their dice. I've rolled a 2nd move there, so I'm going to put those up there. You can only put them on the ability and get ready for, you know, an activation of that ability if you have rolled all of the dice for it. So once I've rolled those dice, they've gone away. But you always get to make sure you have 4 dice at a time. So as you get these abilities and start to activate them, so I could just do another move if I want to try and dash through a load and then keep getting more dice. You keep going and going until you have rolled. And this doesn't happen in the normal game, by the way, where you don't roll one of these for ages and ages and ages. Wow, I haven't rolled one yet. I might have to just doctor it. Yeah, let's not stay here forever. You will roll these blood spots, so they cannot be re-rolled. But if you activate an ability with your other dice, you can re-roll one of them. So I could do yet another move. I would get to re-roll this and pick up 2 more dice for my pool to keep on rolling with. But inevitably, you are going to get in situations where you now can't activate any abilities because you've got too many blood spots. Or what you can do is put 1 on your health bar. You're going to take a damage at the end of this phase, but then you can re-roll all your other blood spots with everything else and go back up to 4 dice and keep rolling and rolling and rolling until you've activated all of your things. So you want to make sure you're activating the correct abilities and try and work out where you're going to go, what you're going to do. But at the same time, everyone is grabbing dice from this pool and activating their own abilities. So, you know, it's you snooze, you lose. You don't want to spend too much time dawdling when these dice are constantly being taken, because the faster you can go, the more you will potentially get to do. Let's just imagine I got something like this over the course of the round. So now we go into the fighting phase where you get to decide what you're going to do. So I've got a lot of moves and I've got a lot of other things. So first of all, we take the dice off our health track and cross off those spaces. That's a damage that I've taken. I wouldn't be as worried about that because I have got 2 extra health there thanks to my preparation. So I could spend a move action. There's nothing to be done in here. I have got 1 shot to fire, but there's 2 enemies in here. Now these are just normal grunts. So it says on our little player aid here, grunts only matter if the boss is in that room. You have to eliminate all the grunts before you can attack the boss. Otherwise, the grunts don't particularly matter. So I could just run through the room that they're in if I wanted to. So I've spent 1 move to go out of my starting room and go into there. When you first go into a room, you cross it off. But there are all sorts of things. It's not just about charging the boss and killing the boss, although you do get points based on how much damage you had to do to kill them. So Banda Boy here has got 5 health. You get an extra 5 points if you do kill the boss before the end of the game. And your boss has a special ability. So his ability is that if he isn't dead by the end of the round, he heals back up to full. So you have to do all of the damage to him in one great big go. So it's not just about that, though, because there are objectives in all of these rooms. So the room I'm currently in, I could cross off this if at the end of the round I'm still in this room and I fulfilled its objective. So this is 3 points if I have visited 6 or more rooms. So I've not done that yet. I would want to come back later on and do this. This one is 5 points if you've eliminated all of the enemies in adjacent rooms to this. So I would have to do this room, and this room to grab those 5 points. But I might want to run off to this room over here because I would visit it. Now, the different colours of grunts do different things. So we've got a green in here. A tough guy has 2 health rather than the usual 1. And the gunman, the blue, will do damage to us if they're there at the end of the round. So I've spent another dash, another move to get in there. I've got punch here, which is 1 hit, but an extra hit if I've spent double knives to get that ability. You can use single or double to get that. You can just use the single knives. My ability, my negative thing is that I have to use the double sword, so I had to do it, but it means I get 2 hits for it. So I could use those 2 hits in here to take out the tough guy, because he's got 2 health, and then I could use my move to get back out of here, but I'm in danger from the gunman. But that's okay, because I've got a shot. I could have done this before I went in there even. And shoot the gunman. And then I've got my special ability here, the loud bang, which lets me take a wound first, but then do 2 hits, which can take out the grunts in the room that I'm in. Not that I was going to take damage from them anyway, but a load of cleared rooms will help me for this. There is another type of henchman that I don't encounter straight away. Well, I could have if I'd gone down, actually. The blocker. You can't move out of a room that's got a blocker in it. So you have to kill them before you can move on. Unless you have evaded them, of course. There are abilities that let you evade. Just like when Shadow Man tries to shoot, he evades instead. This would let you put a dot on an enemy, and they basically don't count as there. The room would count as cleared temporarily before they get their wits back about them for the next round. So after we've done all of our things, I'll just show you mine for now, you do the resolution phase. So if there are objectives in the room you're in, have you satisfied them? No, I haven't just yet. I've only been in 3 rooms, 1, 2, 3. So I'll have to come back later if I want that. If you haven't spent any abilities you unlocked with their chevrons, you lose those. Every visited and cleared room, so it has to either have all of the enemies dead in there, or they have all been evaded, everyone that's left. If you have a loot token in there, you now claim it. You cross it off to show that you've had that now. And just like in preparation when we roll that diamond, it can either be a prestige and start earning some points, or it can be anything else. It can heal the 2 damage I've now taken. It can give me some more experience, an item. You don't have to still be in this room like you do with the objectives. You just have to have been there and cleared it. So I might want to start working on my prestige to try and get some points. Or I think I'm going to be the health conscious one. I am just going to rub off 2 damage. Or I could have gained, that's a nice noise, isn't it? I could have gained 1 more max health. You receive a wound for every henchman. The red ones hit you in the same room. The gunmen, the blue ones, hit you if they are in the same or adjacent rooms. I don't take any damage this way because of where I am, but I am still just 1 room away from the start at the end of the first round. If you have anything that says resolution, it would happen now, any abilities or things that you've unlocked. At this point, if your health track is full of wounds, so you've taken max damage, if you would take more than your max, you just ignore that excess. But if you've now filled up your damage track, you heal back to full. You lose any extra health you've unlocked, but you heal all of your damage, but then you cross out this box here, which means in the rolling phase, you have a maximum of 3 dice at a time, so it's all that much harder to get your abilities unlocked. And if you should do it again, fill your damage track, and have to have it all wiped again, you are dead and out of the game. Then all of the evaded enemies would wake up and be there again for the next round, and you'd carry on to the next round. After we've done the fighting phase of the last round, we go to the scoring, and basically everything you can see with these icons is points. So in the prestige track, you can earn up to 11 points if you've crossed off 6 diamonds over the course of the game. You can earn up to 6 points from getting loads of experience on the ability track. For my boss, I would get, well, I would need to kill my boss because of his special ability, but I could get 5 points because of the amount of health that he had if I could cross off all of those health points, and I would get 5 extra points if I had crossed out the boss, defeated the boss. You get the points for any objectives you unlocked on your den board, and then you need to make your escape. So wherever you are at the end of the game, say you only just managed to take out the boss at the end, you have to draw a path for your escape. You have to draw a path any way you like back to the entrance, and you lose a point for every room that's got an enemy in it along the way. So you might have skipped a load of enemies to get just the things you needed, but is there now a way out safely? You might have taken out the boss, but everyone's now on really high alert, and yeah, so it can lose you a load of points not being prepared for that. Everyone counts up their scores, and the person with the most points wins, and that is Vengeance Roll and Fight. There is also, I've got episode 1. There is an episode 2 box that's got all different content that I haven't seen. You can see that in the campaign page. There is also a solo challenge mode where you have a pool of dice that gets smaller and smaller depending on the difficulty level that you're playing. But there the rounds are timed because, you haven't got anyone taking dice away from you while they're activating their own things. So you can play on easy where you've got 20 dice and 45 seconds each round, medium where you've got 16 dice and 30 seconds, or hard where you've still got 30 seconds but you've only got 12 dice to work with. When the time runs out, you can't take any more dice from the pool, but you can keep re-rolling the ones that you've got, because one thing that can happen is if you've got unlucky with your last roll and you've just got loads of blood spots there, if you want to, you can keep going and take damage to re-roll all of these, or you can just say, oh no, I'm just going to stop there. I don't want to take any more damage. I'm just not going to risk it. As long as they're just in your pool still and nothing's been done with them, you don't take that damage. You only win the solo game if after 4 rounds you have collected every loot, every diamond from the den, or you have killed the boss and at least half of the minions. So not just evaded, you have to have crossed off the boss and at least half the minions. So the solo as well, and I imagine even more in the campaign, which again you can check out in the description there. I've just got this prototype that I can tell you about, but the campaign page, it can tell you everything. If you're just here for the facts and the overview and stuff, thank you very much for watching. But if you would like to know what I think, here is that thing now. So I really, really love Vengeance. It's a fantastic game that will get a playthrough one day, I promise you. I think it really captures the feel of that kind of climactic portion of a revenge movie, while still being, even though it's full of, the base game is full of, minis and dice, it's still this beautiful puzzly based dice combat. It uses similar things as this, as the shots and hits and stuff, like in one of Gordon's other big games, Post-Human Saga. Very interesting and different ways of using dice. So Vengeance Roll and Fight takes that feeling, that theme, that execution of it, brings that along with it, but instead brings it into this kind of still very puzzly, intricate game, but it's infused with this kind of hectic real-time dice phase where, in a multiplayer game at least, the timer is all of the other players. So it depends how fast the other players are going. It depends how well they're doing at getting their abilities, or how much they're kind of sacrificing what they really want to just be able to say, yep, that's a move, I can get more dice, or I can reroll that blood spot now and get me more dice. Yep, I'll take that. How much planning are they actually putting into these abilities? Because that can be a good thing. It can also get you stuck, of course. You don't just want a load of move and then nothing else, because you'll come across a blocker eventually and not be able to move anywhere. But yeah, it can be a strategy of just, okay, I won't take the optimal thing. Yeah, I'll just take that ability now because there are loads of dice left in the pool, and that action's going to be useful, it's going to come in handy somehow. So let's just keep this moving and try and get more actions than everybody else, and just hope that works out. The preparation phase is lovely as well. It gives you, different choices every time because of the way that the dice come out. Sometimes a bit more choice if the choice faces come out. But there's so much to choose from, and it will all benefit you in some way. It's up to you to leverage that. If you've unlocked loads more spaces on your health track, maybe you want to put yourself in more of a position where you're going to take damage. You can take more risks in that way, or you can take more abilities and items that will wound you because you've got this great big health track. It's also good for some objectives, want you to have all of your health slots unlocked, or do you go for all of the unlocks of these ridiculously powerful items, bearing in mind though that they've only got a limited number of actions? Do you just race up this ability tree and get loads of permanent abilities? So Shadow Man's thing here, before he moves, he gets to evade one of the blockers, so they wouldn't activate him, would let him move out of the room, doesn't have to kill them necessarily. Loads of passive things, but also new abilities, letting you do powerful things with fewer dice, usually only once, but they can be the difference between, clearing a room, between finishing off a boss, and just falling short of it. Most of these things reward you with points, and that's not to say that, it doesn't matter what you do, because even though you've just unlocked a load of these things, you've got to use them well. You can't just unlock all of your abilities and expect to win if you haven't found an effective strategy of using them. I love the roll constantly until you get the bad face dice mechanism. It's fantastic in different ways in Escape Curse of the Temple, in Project Elite, and it's used fantastically in Vengeance Roll and Fight as well. and incorporating a brand new kind of element to it, that you are racing to try and get as many dice as possible and risking, taking damage to be able to re-roll those bad dice. And even just, say, I'm done, the round's over, I'm not gonna take any more damage, I'm just gonna leave those dice there in the pool unclaimed rather than take even more damage. Just in this prototype episode that I've got, there's loads of different boards, different dens, different layouts. They're all double-sided as well. All of the characters feel very different, both in their restrictions, in their abilities, the negative things, and in their sets of items and positive abilities as well. I think it's just a fantastic package. Just from the prototype, I have absolutely loved playing this, and I am hungry for more. But that's just what I think. Hopefully the overview gave you the idea of whether you would be interested in it or not. And again, you can head over there now. If you'd like to see more from me, hey, Mighty Boards did Post-Human Saga. You could see my videos that I made about that. And there are like 450 other playthroughs on this channel at this point. There's a lot. Hopefully you can find something there that you would like to see. And if you'd like to help me keep making these things, there is a Patreon link in the description as well. Massive thanks to everyone that helps me out there. Thank you very much for watching this, though. I'll let you go. See you for the next game. Bye, everyone.